welcome to Two Sisters Drinking Tea Podcast. I'm Brunese, and this is my man Creighton, filling in for my co-host because she can be here.
Yeah, she got called into her day job.
Yeah.
So, but Diego, Kelly, y'all know in the acting business, you have a day job, and then you have your fun job, the acting, making movies, right? So it's the same thing with podcasting. So
yeah, he'll be calling me up while he's writing a movie. He'll be calling me up, and I'll be giving him some outside pointers, trying to help him out with his and stuff like that. Now he got me starring in his.
Yeah, right. That's Diego. Do you do that with Kelly? Any?
Use me for everything. Yes, I use him for everything too. We're always bugging each other for real. I'm normally bugging him with technical questions, and he's bugging me with English questions. So
yeah. I'm like that with my husband. He's sitting over in the corner writing some stuff down for his own podcast. So,
all right, I'm ready. If y'all are ready, so Bernice,
you mean that's the first one?
Yeah.
All right. So, this is for Diego. When you are doing a movie, do you write out the script for the movie?
Yeah. Hunting Souls, I wrote the script. I developed I produced with my wife and directed. It was a long process.
I imagine.
See, I can understand where you're coming from on that, Diego. Me and you, we seem like we're in another life. We were Ed Wood.
Like filmmaking, we have to understand that as a director, we have to create most of our content. Mm-hmm. So normally we have to try to create the ball, make the ball rolling, at the beginning. Then you get more offers and stuff. But
yeah,
the beginning is most of the content that I direct is I'm writing it. So
yeah, that's good. Because I watched one of your movies last night. That's why I'm kind of tired right now. I stayed up. I had to watch Hunting Souls. It was very great, by the way. That was awesome. I loved it.
Thank you.
And I also watched, y'all, the little short film Guns. Okay. I love that because I was like, that actually has a powerful message to it, And so I was sitting there watching it and writing down stuff about it. And just trying to remember. And we were up pretty late. I was up pretty late trying to watch it.
So, Diego, from one director to the next, how can I get one of those nice statue Golden Globe things? How can I get one of those Emmys? I don't even get a certificate of they're like you was accepted into a film festival.
But not even down here.
Yeah.
Well, the Emmys are because of my work with the network. I work with a Hispanic digital network that is called Mundo Now for 6 years, and we do a lot of work. It's a non-stop. So every year, at the end of the year, the submissions start. So the network submits all the work to the different categories, and if you're lucky and you did something right, you get the statue.
So he is the creative director for Mundo, which means that he develops all the shows, all the commercial content, has Emmys in commercial, in international interest, in the one that I just received was for a domestic violence series. So he creates all their digital content, all their movies and everything that is literally digital on there that is
I'm directing, producing.
Yeah.
So now I understand when you said it's a lot of work. I saw Kelly. Oh,
yeah, I saw that.
It's so much work. You don't even know. Yeah.
Well, people think that one of those are for documentary. So they think that the whole year I was just doing one documentary. I did around 100 projects during the year. and from those 100 projects, they submit some, just the best. We got 16 nominations, and then 4 of those were Emmys to me. So,
Awesome.
but when you see, it's not like you submit one and you will. I mean, you may, but this was because we do a lot of work, and for end at the end, that results, you know.
Well, this is for both you and Kelly. How did it feel to win y'all's first Emmy? Because I've never got that feeling, so I just want to know how y'all felt.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
So I've watched Diego win lots of Emmys. Honestly, you know, you're getting rewarded for the work that you're doing, so that feels nice. It lets you know that you're in the realm that you want to be in, that your work is good enough. It's at the top of its level. But as far as like us in general, we don't have a lot of time to stop and celebrate or to get, you know, an ego about it, because by the time the Emmys have come, we're way in the depths of other things.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it's good, right? Because it helps people take notice, because they're like, whoa, they're winning Emmys. Something's going on over there. But most people don't really, we don't have a lot of time to stop and explain things, or, I mean, we're just moving so fast. So, but the first, I think, was the most exciting, because you're like, you know,
yeah.
I don't think I mean, it's like a drug, right? You don't ever hit that high again.
Yeah, that's
right,
what
Diego?
I told him. That's what I told him last night.
I mean, even for me, I didn't get mine till much later, and it still wasn't, because you already know, you've already been there, you're already familiar with it. But that first year, you're entering something very new, and that really is exhilarating. I'll let Diego.
Obviously, you always want to win. It's kind of weird because you are so busy all the time, like just working, that you're not really thinking this is for that. You know, you are just working, and they will submit it, and you don't know if you will win or not. And they submit that in December, and you get it in May. So you already forgot about those works.
Yeah.
You know, like the thing was that to me, I was so surprised that I got on the stage, and they give me the dummy, because you receive one that is just for that moment. And I was looking around, and I was like, in my mind was like, this doesn't even have my name. This doesn't, you know, like, it's too many things going on in your head. I was not knowing what to say. It's all the network people is in front of you, looking at you. So I barely said something. I don't remember what I said in the first one. I came down, they took it away, and I passed next to Kelly. I don't even say hi to Kelly or anything, and she was mad because I was like not kissing her. But in my mind, I was like, that doesn't even look good. Like it doesn't have my name, nothing. And then is when they told me, no, you have to go to the back and get your own. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then when the adrenaline goes down is when you realize everything, you know, all the mistakes and everything. And then it's like,
and your whole life, like if you're in the industry, like from the time I was probably 15, you would recite getting your, you know, your Emmys and your Oscars and your, so I had in my head this built up so big. He would come off, he would hug me, he would kiss me, it would be, you know, and it didn't happen. It's real life.
So like after y'all won the Emmys, you didn't come home and like your kids were throwing roses at your feet and praising you. It was like that.
My kid would have.
You're right.
No, they have no clue. You know, I have older kids. They know that we have Emmys, and I mean, we're just running around all the time. We don't really have a lot of time to, it's not, it's rewarding again, because you know your work is at the top of the level, but you're not like, you know, your finances aren't changing because of an Emmy. However, I think you are put up a level as far as the image that people have of you, so it is a little bit, it attracts, and it's a little bit easier to get work.
Yeah.
I mean, they know that your work is Emmy level, so.
And that is absolutely amazing, and congratulations from not only me and Bernice and Ashley, who is working her day job. Yes, I am a saint for covering for you right now.
Thank you.
She's gonna sew the job,
right? But from everybody, you know, that has watched both of y'all's work, I would like to say on behalf of them, congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It really
Thank
is.
you.
It is.
Thank you.
This is for Diego. What has been the most challenging project you have worked on, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Well, Hunting Souls was all this stuff because you jump into a project and you know that something will fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something always will happen, but we were never expecting that pandemic coming.
Yeah.
You know, like some things you can prevent, you can solve, like depends on you, but we were with our we shot in our house that movie, and we were with all the equipment in our house. We were doing on prepping days already, ready to shoot, and all of a sudden my actress called and said, "Look, I'm not going." She was living in LA, and she said, I'm not going." And I'm like, "What?" And then she said, "Yes, because of the COVID." And I was like, but at that time, United States had 500 cases, just 500 cases, right?
Yeah.
So everything was like, nothing is really happening. It's happening, but not here. All these kind of doubts, right? So we were not sure about all of that. So I'm trying to find another actress. One day before shooting is really, really hard. I'm trying to see how to solve that. And all of a sudden, at the end of the day, President Trump was coming in the news saying the country is shutting down.
Yeah.
So once we shut down, was like, so now what? I called SAG, and they said, no, you have to pay the actors. And I'm like, but why? If this is not, is something different?
Yeah.
Right.
That was March. That was back and forth until the unions were together.
Mm-hmm.
Producers were talking with SAG, and then everybody was getting along. But all that time was like painful, you know, because you don't know what is going on. And then through all of that time, I decided to keep working on the movie. So I keep developing the script and trying to make it to a better level. Was that English is not my first language. So this is a movie that I wrote in English. I was directing in English, so it's complicated because sometimes you don't have the words that you will like to have, you know. In October, we decided to come back and start the production, and we had cases of COVID on set, so we have to shut down production again. Then in November again, and then finally in December we did it, and we made it. So it's not just the normal complications of a set, was plus all of that. And at that time, if everybody remembers, at that time COVID was not like COVID now. Like was zones, we have to have filters, we have to have testing. Mm-hmm. The testing was expensive, really expensive. Each test was like $150, and we have to test the 50 people in the room every 2 days, like 3 times a week. So it was really complicated. So I guess that's the most the most complicated.
Well, in the midst of that, we had a baby too. We were trying to have the baby before, and then Oliver came in August. We crewed up the second time in November, and we were shut down again, and then we crewed up in December. So, and I had a blood clot from my calf to my stomach, and we were full 16 to 20 hours for 21 days, so it was a lot.
Yeah.
This is for Kelly though. When you have a new student in your school, for acting, what is your process of finding their strengths and weaknesses in acting?
So when someone signs up for acting, I require 3 months because that gives me the opportunity to try to get to know them, but they have to make a true effort in putting up their work so I can kind of see where they're at and we can start making adjustments to that. If I don't ever see their work, I can't ever do anything with them. And you have a lot of people that are afraid to ever put up their work. So my biggest, if it is a brand new person who has no experience, I just try to encourage them that I don't care what your work looks like right now. We can get to a better place. But if you don't ever take the initiative to fail, then, we won't get anywhere. So that's the biggest things. Put up your work, put up your work, put up your work, put up your work. And by that, I mean, see your work. Let me see your work. Let me see your work. Yeah. Because I'm a coach, just like a baseball coach or anything. I'm telling you, a baseball coach, he's going to show you where to put the bat, how to hold the bat, the technique to swing. He can't do your swing for you, but he can coach you through the process to get you, to feeling it. And that, that's what you're hoping for. The other thing is you'll get people who have, they'll develop pretty good skills in craft, but they don't have the support team for the business. So it's super hard to have all those elements to come together where you're that 1% that goes through the tunnel.
Yeah.
But we have a student right now that is the voice of young Mufasa in the new Disney's Mufasa, Braylon Rankins. And a lot of things, you should look him up. He's got shows right now out on Peacock. He's the main character in a show called Take Note. He's on HBO Max in a movie called 8-Bit Christmas. Wow. So, and on and on. I mean, obviously he's not our only success story, but that really takes a lot of elements coming together for that person. And I find with adults, the hardest thing is that you have to have enough time to spend in the craft, and you have to get you have to get the space to open up for you, and you have to be dead set on it, because there's too many things that are coming into your adult life that if you aren't ultra focused, you won't make it through.
Diego, when you're doing and working on a movie project, right? Do you, as a director, find it easier, like if you had an acting coach, like Kelly there to help you, if you're you see the scene, but it's kind of like, as a director, you're like, okay, I need a little bit more facial expressions, but they're just not getting it from you. And is it easier, like if you would have?
Yeah, I think that will depend on the director. Some directors are not good with actors. They are straight technical directors. They don't know how to communicate. I try to do that part by myself. I hear Kelly talking with the actors all the time, and I have acting classes all the time, basically.
Yeah.
But if I have some issues, I obviously will talk to Kelly and said, hey, can you help me with this? I mean, it's not bad, it's not against you. Everything are tools. It's just that some directors really don't know how to talk with actors. So it will be recommended for that kind of director that have an acting coach. Some directors are coming from acting and they don't know about camera or technical stuff, so they will need more support from a big DP, a big producer, and less from an acting coach. But it's a balance, you know.
I don't think an experienced actor is going to want an act. I mean, they're going to get together with their coach ahead of time. They're going to work those things out. They don't want to be bogged down on set with getting notes from another person. With kids, a lot of times they will have an acting coach on set, just because with kids, you're often getting them to repeat after you in a certain way. But for an experienced, I mean, you think Anthony Hopkins, that could get a little degrading. So you just let him do his work.
Diego, what genre or stories are you interested in exploring next?
Thriller and action. I want to.
Yeah, I like that. I like action and stuff.
Yeah.
Ah, sweet.
Diego really likes to, he likes what he can do with the camera. He likes things with either building tension or movement. So somebody asked him the other day, you know, you're such a nice guy. You write these dark stories. And I mean, the dark stories are because they can, you know, they offer a sensation, and you're trying to create that sensation, which is a challenge, right? So you're not really trying to go for the easy stuff.
Well, you know, they've also always said that if you can make a horror, you can also make a comedy. Have y'all ever heard that?
Well, comedy is really dependent on the place, you know. Like I'm from South America, and my sense of comedy is really different than here, and it's really different than somebody from India. So comedy is relative. With horror, we all have like more common things that we are afraid of, you know. So I think, but horror and comedy applies to kind of the same type of feeling. I understand what you're trying to say.
I mean, we see this a very fine line of horror and comedy, right? You can easily turn a horror into a ridiculous comedy. So
like a dark comedy, pretty much.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of dark comedy. I can't help myself. I'm a movie buff.
I know. I love them.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and watch movies all day long if I could.
Well, and seeing like me and Diego here, we're kind of like, you know, when you just see us sitting there typing, you know, and it's like, okay, we'll just come back in about 5 hours and let you know when it's time to eat, you know, because are you like that, Diego, when you're just...
Well, I don't have that piece. I'm writing and my kid is coming, hey, I have a present for you, and the present is for me to play with him 5 minutes. So.
Well, yeah.
So,
Diego will zone.
Here. I need a door here, so I can have like privacy, but like this. But I'm good with that, because sometimes sometimes it's good to just be focused on what you're writing, and it's hard to get out and then came back to all of that. But sometimes you have 3-4 hours and you don't notice that time went by, and then you need to rest even 10 minutes and new ideas are coming, you know, because it's like days. You have days that you will be writing a lot and days that you will be just like looking at the paper and trying to get something out. So I think yes, it's good, but
he will definitely come to bed like at 6 o'clock in the morning and not even realize that the whole night has because he's literally lost in the vortex. Yeah,
I'm better at writing at night.
Guilty. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's you know, I tell people a lot, and y'all, everybody here will actually understand this, and the viewers as well. Making a movie, right, is the hardest job in the world, but it's the most rewarding because people are out there seeing your art, your work, and then when you randomly meet somebody and you hear them, it's like, hey, did you see that movie Hunting Souls? And you're like, yeah, you know, like, yeah, that was shot in our house. You know, I know y'all are thinking that, you know, it's like,
I mean, like me, what I like about making movies, I mean, there's so many components to this, right? I really like the UPM place. I like putting the components together. So it's all a big puzzle and everybody is really a part of the puzzle, and the director has a load on him, and then the producer has a load on them, depending on, you know, what position they're in. I think the accomplishment really is that you put the puzzle together, right? Sometimes you didn't put the puzzle together perfectly, but you're always figuring out how to put the puzzle together better for the next time. And then you hope to get to a place where the puzzle just comes together, but there's never a place where it just comes together. So there's always I don't think that you can ever not be challenged in this element that we're in. You know, there's always a challenge.
This is for Kelly because I really do like, because she's a coach. I'm in his next movie. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I need tips because I'm going to be playing a mom, which I haven't done in a while. And I got to really get into scene, you know, and like when I try to do the screen reading when he's at my house, it's kind of hard to get close to a blanket because we didn't have nobody there to help me out, you know. So I couldn't get emotional to a blanket, so I'm trying not to laugh at it, you know, because I was like, blanket just ain't working.
Oh, that was a bad rehearsal, so y'all can judge me if you want. There's a paramedic that's supposed to be there, and I was like, we don't have a paramedic, so here I am, Harry Potter, that had to, you know, go looking like Harry Potter, and I had to come up there and play the part of a paramedic.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, I'm going to have to end up making some teardrops, you know, come out of my eyes because I got to be the worried mom. Anytime I ever worried, I cried, or teared up or something with my kids. It's always something.
Well, I think the important thing is to realize that this character in the story is important, and she is feeling and going through things, and she has given circumstances that are there. And if you allow yourself to play to the given circumstances of the story, then you should be able to get into a space. Yeah. Because then you're lending yourself to the story, right? If I were this person, how would I behave in this moment? And yes, I'm carrying a blanket, but this is not, in the story, it's not a blanket, it's a real baby. I don't know what you're carrying. It's a real person. So I still have to lend my imagination to the story and imagine that this is my real baby, meaning my character's real baby. And then I have to give myself over to the imagination of that. And it's serious. And that's what I tell all actors is there is no story that is written for the mundane person. So every character is of super importance, and their story is of super importance, and that's the reason they tell you as the actor not to ever judge your character, right? Because the minute I decide, oh, this is stupid, or this is whatever, or this is whatever, then I'm pulling myself in the actor's brain. My job is to tell the story the best way that I can. And even if it's ridiculous to everybody else, it's not to me in that moment. Yeah. And comedy comes from the absurdness of the ultra belief in something, right? So I think that's if you can suspend yourself and say, okay, I'm here for the character, and it's important that I'm here for this character, you can get to a better place. Because the minute we decide how we look and how we feel and how we whatever, that's no part of the character.
Yeah. Down here, we're raising awareness for domestic violence because it happens all the time.
So that's what my Emmy it's a series that we do domestic violence. I got to hit the guy over the head with a vase, which was super cool.
Yeah. That's something I wanted to do to my ex-husband when he was doing that, but that was back in the 90s. I was kind of scared. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you should be. That's what I said. I said, just to know if I was really in this situation, I would never, but my character did.
Yeah.
We still going through situations like that. I got a sister that's going through it right now, and the court systems down here are a joke. You know, it's kind of like a circus thing playing in my head, you know, when I'm listening to it. But yeah, I mean, we got
to go all day on that subject.
It's happening so much, but they only give you 1 month for it, you know. So I'm like, we're gonna make every month, you know, that because it happens every day, every second, you know, and so like
and that's just the person who's in power. I mean, what abuse is a person who's taking advantage of their authority, and when it comes to the man in relationship, the man is normally the you know, he's normally stronger than the woman. There are cases where the woman is the abuser. We know that. But I mean, in any case, whether it be police officers, whether it be whatever, that is somebody taking advantage of their higher power. And it's coward. It's a coward that lives inside that body, and it's shameful. And, you know, unfortunately, they just can't get their self together, and they're bubbling over on somebody else that they're affecting. And it's just the most disgusting, lowest form of life.
Yes. And see, I've noticed that a lot of people don't realize battered wife syndrome, which is a real thing. You know, it's when, you know, they just keep going back and back. It don't matter how many times they get hurt by this person, they just keep doing it. And that's what my sister had. And then I go to watch movies, and you don't never hear it being mentioned in a movie. You know, it's like, you know, and then the cops are looking at you like, okay, well, you go back to them. But they don't realize, you know, battered wife syndrome makes you do that, you know. And
the other thing, there's so many strings attached. That abuser just wound you in the web, and you're just not going to get out that easily. You're just not going to walk away from that without your whole life being destroyed. Because right now you're the vision of what that person wants you in and where he wants to keep you. You're basically a prisoner, but you still have the rights that he gives you. Everything's going to be destroyed walking away from that. And really, you should just walk through it and destroy it and freaking get on with it, because there's nothing good coming out of that. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
And you hit so many good key points about domestic violence, because, you know, I'm a big advocate for that, you know, and so is Bernice as well, because, you know, she's a survivor. I think it's wonderful that you won an award for this.
Yes, congratulations for that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And Diego, you know, I
see the ones behind Diego.
Yeah, I can see the ones behind you, Brad. I'm giving you props. You know, you only got 16 of them.
Well, that was Diego's story. So
right.
I mean, not his story, but he put together the whole thing, and he did want to tell it through, you know, where it wasn't just a man abusing or a woman abusing. So he did it in a way that there was abuse going on both sides. But that's the way it ends up, right? Is that at the end you got two people just in a cat fight, trying to get their own human rights back. And the one fighting to get their human rights back is being shunned by the other one, saying they're crazy, and it's just a big mess by the end of it. It's just a big mess.
It is.
Well, so where can people watch this movie?
Hunting Souls.
This is a series, and it is a Hispanic series, and it's on Mundo now, right, Diego?
Yeah.
Where else would they see it?
That.
Oh, sweet.
So okay, Don said we got that.
Okay,
I got that in my house.
Great. Yeah.
I make sure I try to get as many episodes as I can on the TV.
It's very I mean, this is a series that is more informing people, like what their rights are. So even for me, it was very informative to know that you, as the person being abused, you're probably making mistakes that you don't want to making. if you know the answer to it, you wouldn't be making.
Yeah.
So it's really informative.
And what's the name of the series?
It's called Domestic Violence. It's in Spanish though, so I'm trying to translate it. It's impact legal immigration in domestic violence.
Okay.
So the important thing is that, like, when a fight happens and they call the police, if the abuser called the police, even being the abuser, just because he called the police, the police will be more in their favor. So it's the small details that is teaching us all the things that you should be aware on those cases.
Yeah.
Marcy and
right.
Sandy.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get my cast and crew to watch it. So,
Yes.
because
I'll get my sister to watch it because she needs to learn this stuff. I'm telling you. Because when her husband went and got arrested, she flopped down. I said, "You ain't never doing a crime, girl." She flopped down on the ground, started crying. "I'm going to jail." I said, "Shut up." He stepped back for me to slap her, and I said, "I ain't gonna hit her. I ain't dumb." You know. I mean, he's wanting her to stop too. You know, and
even things like just yelling in front of a child, that could be taking you to jail. So it's
well, I mean, around
different.
here, just cussing and yelling in your own home, even without a child, you go to jail.
Yes, but
but
even having a child is even worse. Even a slap with the hand open or with the face is different. So everything has like levels of, so it's basically a lawyer talking about all those different cases. And
you see what makes it bad is when people actually do get a divorce from that, they don't mention domestic violence to the judge or in the court papers whatsoever.
Down here.
Down here they don't. I mean, I know when I divorced my ex, none of that was brought up in court, but I still got full custody of my daughter. He didn't have nothing.
The problem that you have is that many counties don't have domestic violence task force. So even when police officers go into the homes of people who are experiencing this, they're just trying to break it up. And there's if you go into a county that has a task force, you are not going to be able to get that man out of jail or the woman, depending on which one gets. So, different counties work differently, but that's where your community involvement matters.
Well, it's time to wrap up Two Sisters Drinking Tea podcast. I enjoyed talking to both of you, Kelly and Diego. I enjoyed talking to y'all.
Thank y'all.
Again, congrats on the Emmys. I look forward to watching y'all's movies. I'm still gonna go home and finish them out. Last night I watched Guns and y'all short film Guns, and then I watched Hunted Souls, which I thought was really, really cool. I love that. I love how y'all put a child in there, being possessed, because children are actually very innocent. And me growing up, we were told that, evil can't touch children because they're so innocent. But then movies are being made that showing that they can be, and there's always a story behind that, and then it just makes you just keep watching. I loved it.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
Wonderful.
I mean, I'm a horror movie person, so.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys have a great week, and may good things come to you. May good things come to your sister. Keep pushing for her. I mean,
I sure am. We are her cheerleaders right now.
Right.
So we be cheering her on.
All right.
But thank y'all so much for being on here, and maybe one day we'll get to talk to y'all again.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see you in person.
Maybe we can see you in person.
At your next Emmys, y'all will win. We'll be there.
Yes.
We'll be the ones going, "Hi, y'all remember me?"
I'll be like,
Normally, when I meet somebody, I stay. I don't forget you.
Well, I mean, y'all are more than welcome to stay in touch with me. Y'all can get my stuff from Creighton.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm always just sitting there on the couch, just sitting there playing video games or something, because there's nothing else to do at the house. So drive over. I mean, I live out in the country, so there's really nothing to do. our big moment is when the garbage man comes and picks up the garbage on Mondays.
You're like, oh, it's somebody.
With me, Diego, we got the perfect cast already.
Yeah.
Reality TV.
I tell look, I know this is bad, and this is so wrong of me to say this, but my road, we live so far out in the country that my road is so like bumpy that if a woman was to wear a product in her, it would come out. If you were pregnant, that would be the road I tell you to go down and have that baby, because you're gonna have it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have it. I'll have it.
But if you ever did come down here, we'll cook y'all a good Southern meal, because
Heck yeah.
people, and we got the best sweet tea there is around, for real. You know, like we always like to feed people.
We like to eat. You can tell. We like to eat. All right. See you guys later.
Creighton, and y'all keep in touch and stuff.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.